A lot of people are wondering what the Ohio State Buckeyes will do with their running back rotation in 2022. Well, via some observations from a recent practice during fall camp, we learned a little bit about what we might see in the fall. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more right here on Locked On Buckeyes.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Monday, August 8th in the year 2022, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. On today's episode, we will discuss a recent commitment from four-star linebacker Arvell Reese and why four-star small forward Scotty Middleton committed to Ohio State. But first, the Buckeyes are ready to get the team going. They're already checked in to the hotel for fall camp, and fall camp gets moving along, moving at full steam ahead. And we are wondering, I have been wondering, you might as well, what are the Buckeyes doing right now during fall camp for the running back rotation to figure out who is going to be there at 1, 2, 3, and maybe the fourth spot on the depth chart. Players got to talk to the media after, I think, practice 2 or 3 last week. You have to get a little bit more insight about them. But one of them discussed a little bit about how the rotation and the reps are going during practice. We got a newcomer in Dallin Hayden, a four-star running back who was a freshman this year, who is going at full speed. When I say full speed, this man is going hard every single rep. First time as a Buckeye practicing with the team. So you're wondering, how is he going? He is going full steam ahead, full speed every rep, and you would like to hear that about a newcomer, Evan Pryor. Evan Pryor believes he's proven and he's worthy of a role in the Buckeye offense in 2022. Got to see a little glimpse of the things he could do on the football field during the spring game. And I do believe that highlight that we got to see from him and those flashes of potential big plays in the fall that we got to see early in the spring game, we got to be like, okay, great. But how will this work out with guys such as TreVeyon Henderson at RB1, Mayan Williams probably at RB2? TreVeyon Henderson made an interesting comment about the reps that the players are getting during practice so far. And he said the reps are really spread out pretty evenly. Not one person, him getting more carries or more reps than somebody else, or maybe Henderson and Williams are getting the bulk of the carries and the touches and the reps, and the other running backs are just kind of waiting for their turn. No, that's not how things are going in practice right now. The reps are spread out evenly. And that leads me to something Mayan Williams said during a post-practice presser about the running backs and kind of about the approach that we might be seeing from them in the fall. I want to read a direct quote from him in regards to some things that we might see from this unit in the fall when the football season starts. Quote, I feel like it's going to be like somebody come out, somebody come back in. Just keep the train rolling. That's how I feel it's going to be, end quote. Now, you might say, Jay, what in the world are you thinking when you say that, like, keep the train rolling? What does that mean? It doesn't matter who's on the field. That train's going to keep on rolling. Every running back has a different skill set. I think I heard Jimmy Birmingham say that he was told that Mayan Williams lost 6 pounds in the offseason. If you want to think about Mayan Williams when he was a high school recruit, a high school football player, when he was on an official visit to Ohio State, I heard a report that he weighed 240, 245. Some people say 250. Now you say, Jay, that's a 10-pound gap. That's a lot of weight, yes. But also, if you're saying, someone's saying that he's possibly 250 during his official visit and he still gets an offer and he still commits, there's a lot of talent right there in that frame, that 5'8" frame, that you might say, how can he progress? And he's gotten a whole lot better. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape right now. And I am excited to see what he does in the fall. But as he tells us or tells people that the plan is to just keep the train rolling and moving along, y'all, I am excited, more excited than I already was for this unit, because if the plan was to keep the train rolling, and it's really say there might be a drop-off in talent, but not a drop-off in productivity from these athletes and from these players, what the offense can do, man, just you wait. Just you wait. Because as many people looked at and marveled at the statistics of the Ohio State offense last year, and they said, Ohio State had the #1 ranked offense last year in the country in numerous statistical categories. But even at times when you watch the football, you said, y'all, the numbers say one thing, but my eyeballs tell me something else, that this offense is not complete. But if the plan is to keep the train rolling, and that allows the Buckeyes to simply be better on offense, be a better well-oiled machine, be better fine-tuned, the offensive line, will talk about them more down the road. If they're more aggressive, if the receivers are more in tune and do a phenomenal job of blocking like they have done over the past few years, there's a good chance this offense this year statistically will not just be at the top, but via productivity and via our eyeballs, not just mine, but our eyeballs, will literally be the offense that you expect a Ryan Day offense to be. None of this nonsense we saw during sometimes last year where things just didn't seem to look right. If it wasn't for the passing game, the Buckeyes would have gotten annihilated and would have gotten beat in a few more games than they lost. None of that stuff. Keep the train rolling. And a lot of it starts with the running backs. You want to be able to help Stroud be a better quarterback. You want to be able to help the receivers have bigger separation on routes. You want to help Stroud have bigger windows to throw to his receivers. Keep the train rolling with those running backs. And baby, oh baby, we are going to be seeing a monster this fall if these players keep playing and we keep getting reports like the ones we recently got about how they are performing in fall camp so far. The Buckeyes got a commitment from a linebacker. Yes, baby. In the 2020 recruiting class, we'll tell you who it is. Some interesting things to know about him. We'll discuss those next right here on Locked on Buckeyes. As you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job and the purple #hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Coming up later this week, we're going to have a special treat. Not only will we have John Garcia Jr. to discuss some things surrounding football recruits and the football recruiting things, we'll also have Jason Jordan, who is Sports Illustrated's director of basketball recruiting and Locked On's basketball recruiting insider, that will be with us as well. So we'll get some things about recent Buckeye commitment from John's point of view, about Arvell Reese and some other things going on via Buckeye football recruiting. We'll also get an update about Scotty Middleton, a recent Buckeye basketball commit, and some other things surrounding the Buckeye 2023 basketball 2023 recruiting class as well. So we're going to get some Buckeye basketball recruiting, some Buckeye football recruiting. We want Locked on Buckeyes to be the place to be for you to come to get your Buckeye news, and we're trying to make that happen as we speak. So many people have been wondering what is going on with the football recruiting. What is going on? Not just football recruiting, but specifically in this classification, the defensive recruiting for the Buckeyes. What in the world is going on? What happened during that last weekend of the official visits? What is happening right now? And honestly, Sometimes things have to happen. You can't have all the commits come to your school, and through all the mess, as things don't go your way for a little bit, there are players that still have your school, the Ohio State Buckeyes, at the top of their list, and that is what happened recently as 4-star linebacker Arvell Reese recently committed to Ohio State over the weekend, sitting at 6'4", 215 pounds. He is the number 20 ranked linebacker in the class according to 247 Sports, and he's the 7th ranked recruit in the class out of the state of Ohio, a Glenville High School kid. And I do believe, if I recently saw this, he is the first commit from Glenville High School since 2014. That's astonishing. Because I remember when I became a Buckeye fan, it was like Glenville was a factory for Ohio State. And it was like Glenville this, Glenville that, Glenville this, Glenville that. I literally remember this, and I was not big on recruiting. I just remember Glenville High School, Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, great. It all makes sense. But that pipeline maybe was there, but it wasn't there for a while. I sure hope Ryan Day is finally able to tap back into that well of talent very, very soon. This young man, 6'4", 215. You might see him listed at 220. Everything I'm reading and that I'm seeing is that he still has time, and he has a frame that allows him to potentially add more weight to it. So you could probably see a guy currently at 220, could be up to 230, 235 if Jim Knowles in the defense and Larry Johnson. I say Larry Johnson because there's a possibility that this man could put on some weight and be an edge defender, be an edge rusher, maybe a 3-point stance guy, maybe a 2-point stance guy. Either one you think it is, he can possibly play that role. And when you think about that, and you think about Jim Knowles' new defense, and will it be more of a 3-3-5 look? Will it be a 4-2-5 where your 1D end is going to be a hand in the ground and stand-up guy? What is the look? We're going to get a lot of variation from that, a lot of variation about what Jim Knowles is going to do with the talent at Ohio State. And this young man, Arvell Reese, can literally be an outside linebacker. Of course, in a 3 linebacker set, more of a 4-3 when you play those heavy units, those heavy sets. He could be a guy that's your Sam linebacker, a strong side linebacker, or he could be an edge guy if Ohio State wants to do the 3-3-5 thing, where your third linebacker, more so the Oklahoma State mind that we saw quite a bit last year, where that third linebacker is really more on the line of scrimmage. He can play that role. If you want to have him just be a linebacker off the line of scrimmage, he can play that role. It just really depends on what Jim Knowles and this defense really think is wise and what they think is best for him once he gets to Ohio State. He has length. He has a frame that you'll love, a frame I mentioned earlier. Just going through my notes again, he can add weight. He's very explosive. He is a speed rusher. He has those traits with him. But one thing he needs to do, which I think everybody at his age right now, if you're a junior, about to be a senior in high school, embark upon your senior year of high school football, everybody needs to add tools in their bag. It might not be so much say, hey, as a skill set, as a recruit, how talented is he? Oh, he's talented. Is he comfortable in the pocket? He can work on it. Or talking about a quarterback now. Is he comfortable in the pocket? He can work on those things. Can he run? Is he mobile? Can he scramble a little bit? He can work on those things. I mean, everybody has things they can work on. And with Arvell Reese, he has those things, but that's not something that's going to be something that's an eye-opener or something where you say, I don't want him in Columbus. That's expected, y'all. I mean, I remember when I started selling cars. I'm going to tell you another story about me in my days selling the cars in Avon, Indiana. So when I started selling cars, I was like, I quickly realized I could do this. Like, it didn't take very much time at all for me to realize I can talk to people. I can adapt to people as they come in, different cultures. I can adapt to, no matter if I'm talking to a man or a woman, I can adapt. If there's kids involved with the family, I can adapt. If it's a family vehicle, I can adapt. I can adapt to a lot of things. So I quickly realized in that moment, your boy could do some things with the slinging of the cars. But then I also realized I wasn't the best. There was something that I could do that was good for me. But also there were some things that I could not do that other people could do. So I had to work on the craft. I remember we went through a a week-long training course about the ins and outs, the I forget exactly what it's called, but it's a sequence of like 10 to 12 steps about the road to sell a card. It really went from the meet and greet at the very top, step number 1, all the way through follow-up, which is step number 10 or number 12. I just forget how many steps there are. But every step in the process to sell a car is detailed. There's a step for it. There is a guideline for it. There are instructions for it. Just like in coaching, you have guidelines, you have instructions on ways you prepare for a game. Same thing. And even during a game, you have things that you go through. Yeah, not every customer you're going to sell a car to is the exact same, but there are things in your bag you have during this road. You're like, okay, cool. Like I get to step 5. I know how to quickly transition through step 6, 7, and 8. Don't ask you what the order is because your boy could not do that at all. But I quickly realized, I'm not all that. Like, I'm good. I'm really good. But I'm not perfect. I don't have everything in my bag. I don't have every tool to make me the best player, best car salesman that Andy Moore Avon Nissan has. I wasn't. I was still one of the best, but I was always looking to improve. Same thing with Arvell Reese. These are things we expect. These are things that Jim Knowles and possibly Larry Johnson like. Could Larry Johnson get another player that could be more of a stand-up guy on the edge? Possibly. I mean, it's to be determined, but it's possible. Could Jim Knowles get a guy that can be very versatile and play multiple positions at the linebacker spot? It's possible. It could definitely happen. But whatever happens, Arvell Reese is a commit to Ohio State. I saw Brandon Ennis and I think Luke Montgomery, 2 2023 commitments that were just saying, y'all better watch out. We got something coming. And every time they say that, every time they send those tweets out, we all know that somebody's going to be committing to Ohio State really, really soon. Do we know who? No. But we know it's going to happen. Arvell Reese is the latest player to commit to the Ohio State Buckeyes, and I am very excited about him and his future in Columbus. Another player, this time on the basketball court, committed to Ohio State. Who is it? Why did he commit to Ohio State? We'll discuss that next right here on Locked on Buckeyes. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They have you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. Basketball recruiting has been big, and Chris Holtmann, Jake Diebler, and the rest of the Ohio State basketball coaching staff have done some phenomenal things recently to help this unit continue to grow and be more talented. The Buckeyes have had a fun little stretch over the past few days. The Buckeye basketball team had a scrimmage. I'm going to go through a sequence of things that happened over the past 6 days for the Buckeyes, and you'll see some spicy things are coming on that side of the athletic department. The commitment comes from 6'6", 180-pound small forward Scotty Middleton from Sunrise Christian in Wichita, Kansas. He's the number 34 ranked recruit via 247 Sports composite rankings, the 6th ranked small forward in the class, and the 3rd ranked player from the state of Kansas. Now, you may say, Jay, state of Kansas, Kansas Jayhawks, Bill Self, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, weren't they in the running? What happened? Why was it why did it happen for the Ohio State Buckeyes that they got him and Bill Self did not? Well, I got some things that I don't want to speculate about why I think Scotty Middleton may have committed to Ohio State over. I'll just kind of say what read a quote here from him or some things about him in regards to why he committed to Ohio State really soon. But there are some things going on with Kansas that might be in the back of his mind about, I don't want to go there. Things don't look right. So how about I go somewhere where I know what I'm getting when I get to campus? Well, the top 5 for Scotty Middleton was Ohio State, Kansas, UConn, Texas A&M, and Seton Hall. The most surprising one there was Texas A&M, not really known for the basketball. not really known as the type of basketball program that Ohio State is. That one really stood out to me. Kansas and Texas A&M fell out of the final three when Scotty Middleton whittled and shortened his final list and those teams that were in the running for him to commit to. Scotty Middleton says this in regards to why he committed to Ohio State and what stood out for him in this recruiting process. Quote, Ohio State, every time I have a good game, Diebler always texts me about how I can be better. Every time I have a bad game, he always texts me what I have to do to be better. Every time it's those little things that schools aren't always consistent. I'm going to be away from my family. So I wanted my college to feel like a second home, and I feel like that's what Ohio State really feels like, end quote. This is not the first time or the only time we have heard recruits discuss how Ohio State feels like family, how when they're away from their family, they're away from home, they want something that feels like home, and they are gravitated towards Ohio State. And that's a reason why. This is not the first time that's happened. I don't believe it's the last. And I really like how Jake Diebler is really the guy that is spearheading and that is behind a lot of these different commitments from different players. I mean, you could go up and down, read different articles, and even talk to some of these young players, these young athletes. They'll even tell you, like, it's not just Holtman. Diebler is a big part of what is going on. Diebler is a big part of the recruiting process for numerous players on the Buckeye basketball team. And I even venture there's some transfers that would say the same thing. This is a team effort. In football, everybody marvels that say Ryan Day did this, or Corey Dennis did that, or Brian Hartline did this, or Justin Fry did that. Yes, they might be at the top. Their name might be on the recruiting site as far as the recruiting contact and that person that recruited them. But these players will also tell you there are so many other people, there are other people involved in the recruiting process that don't get the attention, don't get anything written about them, but they're as important. They're really important, just like Ryan Day is important to the recruiting process. For the football side, Holtman is as well, but these assistant coaches do a lot of the grunt work, do a lot of the day-to-day grind, do a lot of the visiting. Holtman, I will tell you, I've told you once, I'll say it again, I have seen Holtman at numerous schools. I'm sure some of you have as well, as he is out watching these players with his own two eyes during their high school basketball season and even during AAU tournaments as well. So Holtman is not saying it's all on you. He's doing his part. But it's something different when it's not just the head coach, but there are assistants that are doing the job and doing things for you to help you make the proper decision and make sure that even during the good games or the bad that you have, they are helping you be a better basketball player and giving you details about how you be the best basketball player you can be. A couple interesting notes about the basketball player, Mr. Scotty Middleton. He can score on multiple levels. I was watching some clips on him before he didn't record on this year podcast. And Scotty Middleton, he can break off the dribble. There was one time in transition, he was on a fast break in. The defender kind of got him at half court, more of an AAU tournament. But the defender got him at half court. It seemed like he hit another gear. He went up a gear, shifted up, and hit another speed. And once he hit the other speed, the faster speed, the defender was gone, was right on his back hip. Middleton went to the layup. There were times that Middleton was not selfish. He saw an open teammate or he was driving and kicking and dishing it out to other teammates. And 6'6", you like a guy that can dribble, that can get his own shot, and that is not afraid to pass the ball. There was also a time, the same game that I'm mentioning now, he was coming down to the left side of the court. A defender caught him at half court once again. And this time, once Middleton hit that second gear like he did previously, man, he went to the rim harder than he did the previous time. The first time I mentioned he went in for a layup. This time he went in for a one-hand jam, and baby, that thing, boom, went right in. And I'm like, oh my. He has a little power to him as well. Not just a player that can finesse some things or speed some things up. He also has a little power once he gets to the paint as well. He also is a good defender, and he credits his coaches for that, for helping him be a better defender and a defender that can really do things, not just at this level, but also in college as well. Big weekend, big 6-day stretch for the Ohio State basketball team. They had a commitment during this time span. They traveled to the Bahamas. They had some fun on some water slides. They beat the Egyptian national team. They beat the Puerto Rican national team. And they got another commitment from Mr. Scotty Middleton over the weekend as well. Phenomenal 6-day span. Happy Scotty Middleton is a Buckeye, committed to the Buckeyes. And I can't wait till we get Jason Jordan on the show to discuss some things from him in regards to what he knows about Scotty Middleton, some other things surrounding the Ohio State 2023 basketball recruiting class. We're out of here on this Monday. You can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can also send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. Fall camp is underway. Got a full week of shows for you. You don't want to miss anything. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Locked On Buckeyes. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast listening app, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your fine podcasts. Locked On Buckeyes is daily, and it's free. Free. That spells free. Everyone loves things that are free. Go ahead, bring those things over. Bring your clicks over to Locked On Buckeyes on YouTube. Subscribe, download, enjoy Locked On Buckeyes on the audio version, audio podcast app of your choosing every single day. I talked a lot today. I am going to shut my mouth, get up out of here, upload this podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy this show and have a great day.